All right, welcome back. Remember that the show is interactive. We always want to hear from you. Hashtag Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms. WhatsApp line is 0550-585-832. Now, we want to talk about water challenges, erratic water supply across different spaces we have in the country. My area in Achimota, for example, the last couple of weeks, I think there's a stretch of about 5 to 10 days. There was no water flowing at all. Yeah. Chantel, my co-host on Traffic Avenue, was talking about Ashelebotwe. They hadn't had water for over a week. A very difficult circumstances.
But you know why?
Then no, we don't know why yet. Then when we were talking about this on radio yesterday, then a listener sends a message and says, "Look, my area, we haven't had water for 8 months. We've been buying water for 8 months."
Wow.
So I think it's a big challenge that of course we know that the Harmattan has stretched a little longer than I don't know how much of an impact that would have on the supply or in terms of what Ghana Water's operations are like. We also know that Galamsey has introduced a lot of challenges, along the chain.
Yeah.
And Ghana Water has even spoken about it, that look, if we don't fix this Galamsey issue, it will come back to bite us, And there was a report that said 2030 we'll have to start buying water importing water into the country. Well, we have a report for you from the Western region on erratic water supply by our colleague Akwesi Inimeje. Let's take a look at this report. We'll come back and get into the conversation.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Such was the assurances by the then senior minister, Asafo Mafo, and his counterpart, Cecilia Abinadapa, in November 2020 before the general elections. It was meant to address the annual ritual of water supply shortages in Sekendi Takoradi. So at this event, Dr. Asafo Mafo and Cecilia Abinadapa promised to end the water supply challenges with the construction of a 70 million euro new water treatment plant at Daboase.
If a government in power, few weeks before election, decides to cut short for a project, ask him 2 questions. 2, have they got the money for the project? If so, from where? Has the project been approved by Parliament? Nananum, our distinguished Council of State member, you will note that we have the money for this project. We have selected the contractor for this project, and Parliament has approved both the money, the contractor, and the scheme to be done. So we are on course. This project is going to cost us 70 million euros, and we are lucky that the Austrian government, through the OEK, has provided the funding for it.
Ironically, 14 months after this sword-cutting ceremony, construction is yet to take off at the site. The situation has left frustrated residents of Sekendi Takoradi Metropolis worried because this year's experience is worse.
When I go work, I go tire. I come here fresh water. When I go work, I dey tire.
Insu no oba. Ibi oba 2 weeks na insu po ambada. Oba be some seconds apia. Ibi tum ya 2 buckets. O dey insu ni na okko. Yenya all the time be yet to insu. Yet to 3.5. Na yet to. On na yet aba. Insu what the bill, what the aba. Other at least we bring the power kakra ba ye 1 week grandpa. No be like when you be. The kota it's very hard. Oh ya hard man. Hard tell them Sibiko. We be work. Oh ya very hard. Because suffer people baby was when you be almost 2 months when you show off. This was the bill brown. What the first one? No dey chia.
Yeah, I'm not 4 o'clock na me so I feel me news. You say me come on kala no dey gara for school. But I say you news you. But we gallon back yellow back one thing. And yeah. Nti wa sha get imagine. We do time so be na ya yesike nyina san. Sa 4 o'clock be so na obi anyamasia. Ti say omu bubu obi abu ni dey answer na we do so. So kola me ko school kola mu nyina wa late. we dey yes so mo pa mo hwe my here tita na ba obi a me kwa dwuma wo so still a nso nti da wa e wa ha afa me wi akoko ga ya nsa ma ye nsi pa cho aka de ha nkwa de nso de mo hwe my.
But what is the reason this time around for the long-running water shortage in the Sekandi Takoradi metropolis?
Sekandi Takoradi, the demand for water is between 15 and 20 million gallons of water a day. Currently, as I sit here, sometimes I produce 2 million. As I told you, 2 million in a day. And sometimes the water doesn't produce at all, nothing comes out. And 3 days ago, that's when Tuesday, Dabuasi produced for only, that's operated for only 45 minutes. How much within 45 minutes are you going to be able to produce? Because of Galamsey illegal mining activities upstream the Pra River, there is so much silt accumulation at the intake. This silt deposit makes it very difficult for at least some amount of water to come to the intake. So instead of seeing water there, you rather be seeing silt. Because of the current dry season in which we are, the river level keeps going down and down and down by the day.
Further to this, what is the current status of the construction of the planned new water treatment plant at Dabuasi?
When you want to undertake any project, there are preliminary processes that you need to go through. So that process is what has taken us this far. But as I said, 3 weeks ago, the project implementation team from head office Accra were here to do some social assessment and to do other things, testing the water to see the salinity of the water, at what point can we draw how much, where are we going to build the treatment plant itself, the structure, where is it going to be. They came to do all these studies. So we believe that in no time, I will not be able to give you a specific time, but I can assure you Ghana Water Company staff cannot even wait to see the beginning of this project.
Right, so that was a report put together by our Western Regional Correspondent, Apesia J. Enim. Now he's joined us on the phone. Thank you very much for your time, Enim.
Yes, good morning.
Right, so what else can you tell us about the water situation in Sekandi Takoradi, especially with the Dabuasi project?
Well, for the project, what we have been told is that they are still doing preparatory works, and that is close to 1 year, 4 months since the construction, the salt cutting was done. And they are telling us that the 3-year project, the 3-year scheduled construction project, they spent 1 year, 4 months into that, and actual construction hasn't actually started. This is a project that, as we heard from the senior minister's own mouth, they had secured the funding even before the last election. They brought the contractor to show us. They said Parliament had actually approved the funding. And so it is very surprising that for close to 1 year, 4 months, we still haven't had actual construction. But the situation on the ground right now is anywhere you pass, you see people with this yellow gallons, either pulling it on a truck or carrying on the head. And you see places where a lot of people have assembled trying to get water from maybe a gallon, a tank that has been filled with transported water to that point. And so it's really hectic. There are places that they haven't had water in the last 2 months. Some, it takes, the average interval that you get some water will be maybe 3 weeks to 1 month. And when it comes, it doesn't even last for even 2 hours, and it goes away. If you listen to the Ghana Water Company, this is a problem that we've seen over the years. For the years that I've been in the region, almost every year, the last quarter of the previous year, going to the first quarter of the next year, we always have this water shortage. And it has always been blamed on the dry water condition, the fact that there's galamsey activities, and all that. But I don't think the problem we have is just a matter of galamsey and the dry water condition. The capacity of the plant has not been expanded since its construction. and population keeps increasing. And so if you are going to sit and always be blaming this on Galamsey and dry weather, then it means we are not really being proactive in solving our problems as a people, because population over the years keeps increasing, but the production volumes, I'm told, between Dabuasi and Chaban is a combined capacity of about 6.5 gallons per day, million gallons per day. And this is the production capacity that we have. And so if we haven't expanded this, and we are saying that the problem is as a result of Galamsey and dry weather conditions, then we are not basically being proactive in solving our problem. So the anticipation was that by now some level of progress would have been made with this 20 million gallons per day capacity new plant that was promised by Osafumafo and Cecilia Abinadepa in 2020, 13th November 2020. And we are in 2022, 14 months, nothing can be seen on the ground. So that is the situation Secretary Takoradi residents are facing.
Right. Now, per the briefing that was given, in 2020, how was the project going to help solve the water situation in that area?
If this project should actually come on stream, it is really going to meet the total demand, daily demand of the metropolis. Secretary Takoradi metropolis has a combined demand of about 15 to 20 million gallons per day. And so if you have this 22 million gallons per day capacity plant actually coming on stream, then we even have about 2 million excess of gallons of water per day. But this project is still a dream. We have nothing on the ground.
Akwesi, are there any indications at all that something will start soon?
David, let me tell you something. I was even surprised with how we went about the first cut. And from that time, I had my own doubts. Look at where in Chaban, they said they are going to site the project at the current in Chaban water treatment plant, which is somewhere close to the Samar district. Somewhere in the Samar district.
Yes.
And the salt cutting was actually done at the regional office of Ghana Water Company Limited in Takoradi. And do you know where the salt cutting was done? It was done on pavement blocks.
Okay. Pavement blocks.
So, yeah, on the premises. Paved, compound of the main. If you want to do a salt cutting to start a project, you don't go to the project site.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying that at their offices in Takoradi.
In Takoradi is where the salt cutting was done, less than a month to the election. Less than a month to the last election. And so it is not surprising that, as we speak, nobody has even taken journalists to the site at Dabuasi that, this is where we intend siting the project. And when you listen to the regional water company, PRO, he was very clear that they are still even doing preliminary work as to the exact place they will site the plant. 16 months into, after the salt cutting. So, nothing shows that Secretary Takoradi is actually going to get out of this problem. Don't forget, this intense crisis that we are having with water shortage has only been increased. But I can say throughout the year, there is some level of, rationing. There is some level of rationing that we've been seeing throughout the year, except that it has really been, it's been intensified.
Just quickly confirm to me before you leave us that you're saying that there's no site that you are aware of for the construction of this project.
The PRO in his interview told me that they intend, and even Asafumafo, they said they are going to put it at Dabuasi.
Okay.
But if you listen to the PRO's statement, he says that the exact site, the exact spot, and this one is in video, the exact spot, they are still looking at that. So we know that it will be placed somewhere in the catchment of the Dabuasi treatment plant.
Yeah.
But why was the salt cutting done
at the office?
The regional office?
All right. Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Thank you. So this is where we find ourselves. I'm sure you heard some of what Akwesi is sharing with us. And the general challenge of, water in the country seems to be heightened this, first quarter of every year. And you mentioned also last quarter of the year, particularly in the western region. I'm assuming it's Harmattan, really, the dry weather, water levels going down. But then he said that also the issue of capacity, really, for him, it seems to be the major issue, which the PRO also alluded to in the video we watched. Yeah. I mean, we keep skirting around some of these challenges that seem to be bedeviling us in this country.
Oh man, Charlie. Life is not easy, Charlie. So water problems will not be anything strange to us. But when you fail to resolve a perennial water distribution problem, then it's a bigger problem. I mean, if it's an accident, maybe a broken system that causes within a short space of time, some water shortages, is understandable. But something that we anticipate is a cycle. We know that every first quarter we have this kind of problem, and and we still cannot find solution. There is a big problem, and we have to admit that we have failed in delivering on that promise. The gentleman who was interviewed said something about the capacity, and then the volumes of water required. Something.
So we needed. So as a country, as Secretary Takoradi, they need 15 to 20 million gallons per day. They are only producing about 2 to 3 million a day.
Yeah, but since when have they known that they need 15 to 20 million gallons? Like forever.
Yeah.
And you've been producing 2 million.
Yes.
That is not enough.
No.
And then you are hit by the crisis of no water at all.
Yeah.
And that's a disaster.
Yeah.
See, we just don't learn. That's the thing. Because this problem, if you know Secretary Takoradi well, this problem has been there like forever.
For a long time.
So government in, government out. They come and, Dabuasi. And I mentioned Dabuasi and I'm laughing. Anyway, so Dabuasi treatment plant has been hanging there, small capacity, not able to attend to the growing population needs of Takoradi. And secondly, Lagos in Nigeria requires almost 600 million gallons of water a day.
Wow.
You are sitting here, you are doing 2 million and you are shouting. 2 million, you can't manage. Lagos alone, I'm not even talking about Nigeria, and I'm not even talking about Lagos State, the Lagos town. You understand? So we need to do better at managing this water crisis.
So the man who has been speaking, who has to be managing, is also joining us on phone. We have Nanaya Berma Bane. He is the Western Regional Communications Manager, Ghana Water Company Limited. Thank you very much. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you very much, madam.
Now, I'm quite excited that you seem to know what the problem is. Galamsey is one major issue, and also the weather. Now, so it means that we've identified the problems. Now, next year, we are still going to be having Harmattan, around. And Galamsey is still an issue. Does this mean that we are leaving, our fate to chance and hoping that something will be done about the weather, and that is it?
Fortunately, we are getting a solution. And that solution is the construction of that new treatment plant that was currently, as I speak to you, the land is being cleared for us to start the project. So that is the permanent solution that we are getting.
Right. So how long is it going to take? Because the sword was cut in 2020. So what are the timelines? And where exactly in Dabuasi is the project happening?
It will just be around the current plant. We have quite a vast land there where the new treatment plant is going to be situated. So it's going to be just at Dabuasi there, just around where the current treatment plant is.
Okay, and the land is now being cleared.
Yes. Please.
So when exactly will the actual work begin?
Very soon, I should say. Very soon.
When are we expecting it to be completed?
Well, because this is a huge project, it has got to do with civil works, buildings going to be constructed, the treatment plant itself, and all of that. It will take about 3 years for the first drop of water to come out of that treatment plant.
But what has accounted for the delay, though? Because if we heard Mr. Safo correctly, he said that funding has been secured. So why are we still here?
Well, I should say, I may not be able to tell you exactly why the project has delayed, because we're all here when the sword was cut, and we're still hoping that sooner than later the thing will come. The project itself will commence, the construction will commence. But it is now that by the grace of God, we are getting started. So that is what I can say.
So now we have the money?
Sure.
Right. We do. So we can start counting from today to the next 3 years that the project is starting or it will be finished?
What I'm saying is that now we are clearing the land. And as I spoke to the distribution manager yesterday, the understanding is that they've done the geotechnical survey. We are now waiting for the results so that the designs will be firmed up so the project can start.
Mr. Barnier, it's a bit curious. With a project of this magnitude, I'm not so sure any funding agency will release money if the schedule is not intact. So do we believe that you have a schedule for this project to be managed appropriately? You have a schedule intact?
We do.
You don't?
No, it is something that is really, I say we do have a schedule.
Okay, so and can you share the schedule? So when is it?
I am here in Western Region, Mr. Samensa. I am here in the Western Region. The details may not be available to me as I speak.
Oh, no. I'm not looking at the details. We're just looking at the overview. Say that because you're able to tell us that the project will take 3 years. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So
that's what
3 years beginning when? Because when you say the site is being cleared, okay, tell us if you have an idea. What's the size of the site that you're talking about? And what would be the...
I am unable to be frank to tell.
Okay, that's no problem.
I'm unable to.
What is the capacity of the new project in terms of water supply?
Wonderful. The capacity is 100,000 cubic meters of water a day, which translated to gallons is 22.2 million gallons of water. So that is the capacity. So the capacity of that new treatment plant is going to be 4 times bigger than the current treatment plant, which has a maximum capacity or the design capacity of 6 million gallons of water. This is going to give us 22.2 million gallons of water.
No, I mean, you are not an engineer, so I'm not going to ask you engineering questions. Because capacity of 22 million doesn't mean that you will produce 22 million, because there are optimization elements that may not be under your control. But that said, the people of Takoradi, Takoradi, and I believe that since you live there, you would also be a victim of this situation. Today you work with Ghana Water, tomorrow you may not. So the solution that is on your table, if you delay, you will come out one day and be a victim of the problem. That's where we find ourselves.
Well, that we know, and I must tell you that those of us who live in Takoradi here are also actually feeling the effect of lack of potable water on daily basis. So this is something that we are all hoping. We cannot even wait to see this project commence. So that is what we are hoping, that sooner than later we will find this project commencing, so we also can heave a sigh of relief.
Yes, even those of us not in Takoradi, Takoradi are waiting to heave that sigh. But in the meantime, until the next 3 years is up, where we hopefully would have the plant up, how do you intend to manage the water crisis in Sekondi, Takoradi?
Currently, as I speak to you, we are in talks with a company called Dredge Masters. They are coming over to Takoradi here to dredge the intake. When we do the dredging, what happens is that some amount of space is freed for some water to come to the intake so we can abstract more water. I must say that between 3 days ago and now, yesterday, instead of 1.1 million, we were able to produce 2.3 million only from Daboase. And in Traban, we produce 1.8 million. So the two put together is 4.1 million. So we believe that with our knowledge, our technical know-how, we should be able to do something about this project, about this problem, so we are able to serve the people of Takoradi.
So, Mr. Barnier, before you leave, take leave of us, are you saying that you don't have an exact date in mind? Not yet.
Yes, I should tell you, I don't have an exact date in mind.
Okay, all right.
But what I know is that the project is starting soon. Very, very soon.
Okay.
Now, when are the dredge masters coming in again?
They're on their way.
We are in talks. we are actually in talks with them. To be coming.
All right.
Well, I think at this point, Mr. Barnier, we can only wish you well. Thank you very much for your time.
Mr. Barnier, motivational speaker. I've been wrong.
Well, so for the people in Sekondi, this is it. We can pray and be hopeful because as it stands now, Mr. Barnier doesn't know when things are happening, so we can only support you in prayer.
Yeah, but he said it's soon, so at least hopefully.
Plans are far advanced.
There's a pipeline. So yeah, Mr. Barnier, thank you. Yeah, literally the plans are in the pipeline. So very soon it will translate to water for you when you turn on your tap.
All right,
thank you so much. This is a serious situation, that is going on. We may be laughing about it, but some people really have serious challenges. So I'm thinking about hospitals, I'm thinking about schools, and I mean outfits like that. How they are dealing with if domestic use would demand buying water.
I don't know what is holding this, but if we apply a heightened sense of urgency, we will see that providing water for Sekondi Takoradi inures to the benefit of this country in more ways than we can think.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, all the rigs, and I'm talking about the oil rigs operating on the seas around Sekondi Takoradi, buy water in large volumes. I'm talking about drinking water, huge volumes of water. And sad truth, a whole lot of them buy water from outside Ghana.
Wow.
They buy drinking bottled water from outside Ghana. See the opportunity we are letting go.
Yeah.
What if we were able to provide water?
Yeah.
What if somebody took advantage to establish a bottling factory for water? What if? And we are sitting there and just happying ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big indictment on us if we are importing drinking water.
Oh, plenty.
I mean, we can't do this for ourselves.
I mean, the mining companies and they import drinking water plenty. Wow. It's only lately that some of them have started, looking to the new brands of drinking water. But largely, they import drinking water. I mean, if a secondary metropolis that requires was this 15 to 20 million gallons a day is only able to provide 1.5 to 2 million a day. What do you expect?
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, we'll have to end it here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take my cup.
Yes, please. Thank you very much, and you and the
Congratulations,
Gunners.
you can drink.
All right. Thank you too very much for watching Breakfast Daily. It's not over yet. A lot more interesting conversations. Health is up next after this break. Don't go anywhere.